Everybody? It is your boy here, Pixelbane, covering some more fringe-related news stories around Seth Rich and other topics. We're still waiting on Kim.com to supposedly reveal something related to WikiLeaks and Seth Rich and all, and his connection to it all. That's supposed to be happening it was supposed to either happen today or tomorrow, depending on what time zone you wanted to think of it. And since nothing happened this morning in New Zealand time for Tuesday, we're going to have to hope that it's tomorrow Tuesday, and he's not just making this some big-ass publicity stunt. Anyway, so this image has been floating around the internet on Twitter, 4chan, and I suppose Reddit as well, talking about the validity of this being the crime scene where Seth is shot. And Seth later died at the hospital, so this is him, probably the last photo of him taken that he's been alive. But I wanted to say that yes, this photo is supposedly legitimate because it was covered in a news story for NBC Washington 4. I'll link this down below, but it's old news because obviously all this information has already been out there, but some little interesting tidbits to be out there that if you didn't know, apparently he was shot at 4:19 in the morning and all of that. You can read up on this. It's just very weird to me still to this day that if this wasn't some government hit, if this was really just a robbery that the robber didn't rob anything, then why hasn't someone come in for the $25,000 reward for silent witness? It's just a little bit weird because you would think that if someone knew of this person who was doing these robberies, because in the story it talks about a plethora of robberies in the area taking place around the time Seth was shot. So it would have to be someone in that area who would know something. You would think if it was not just like not a government hit. And seeing as how the pressure is now coming back up on this Seth Rich issue after basically Hannity and WikiLeaks, and even Newt Gingrich, Kim.com, and now are just like all pushing this Seth Rich thing, it just seems like someone would come forward if it wasn't a government hit. And the media has been saying that the parents of Seth Rich are pushing back on this, and they don't want Seth this whole Seth Rich thing to continue, which is not the case because they released this video of them thanking basically the internet for doing all this research and looking into it. So keep digging, guys. Hopefully something will come up. Hopefully Kim.com will basically have like a bombshell, hopefully. Other than that, I wanted to cover this Facebook story. This title is a bit clickbaity. Facebook won't say if they'll use your brain activity for advertisements. I didn't really necessarily want to cover this because it's pretty clickbaity. I've never heard of The Intercept before. But it basically, Hi Ty, or whatever you want to say his name, during like in a group interview talking about Facebook and they're going to have this brain-computer interface so that you can think your posts without saying them and have them just appear. That goes into a whole lot of things, but basically this interviewer asked if they would be using your brain activity for advertising. And right now, basically, Sam, the best answer I could provide of you right now is what he said, which is basically they're looking into this privacy effort. So they didn't outright say they wouldn't use it for advertising, and typically that means they're going to use your brain, like thought processes for advertising in some way. And basically, this title and this article made me think of the Diamond Age. And it's been a while since I've read the Diamond Age, but there was a scene in there where someone, I can't remember who, got an illegal or black market like brain modification, or was it nanites or something, that basically made them see advertisements and media glyphics, which are basically just like superimposed like advertisements or like writings or whatever, just like augmented reality or whatnot. They saw those advertisements nonstop, even when they closed their eyes, and I think there was auditory stuff revolving around that as well, and the person went crazy and committed suicide. So it just made me think of the Diamond Age, and it's crazy. Neil Stephenson was thinking about stuff, and we're heading that way, and it's just crazy to me. And let alone that if you're using your brain as like an input device, then what's the next step of making it like an output device? And it can't be that big of a leap. If you're analyzing the brain to go into the computer, then you have to have some base knowledge of that to make it so that you could understand how to make it as a output device as well. So you could basically make full like hallucinations similar to like the mediaglyphic advertisements in the Diamond Age. You can make people think that the world is ending. You could potentially shut down someone's body because you have access to the brain. Let alone, obviously, the obvious first step of if you can access someone's brain and their thoughts, the government would love that because like you could just think, oh, that's a thought crime. Someone's gonna start a crime. Let's stop it before it starts. We're going down Big Brother in 1984 route, which is very scary. But at the same time, this is kind of a non sequitur. When I was originally going to get my bachelor's in genetic engineering or biomedical engineering, I had to start like an original thesis, and that was going to be about how induced hallucinations or like as using the brain as an input-output device, you could create like a virtual reality of sorts where you would not, if you induce this hallucination, you can make it feel like it was real and whatnot. And like, that also made me think about this. So it's kind of exciting because like that could be true VR coming up, but it's also completely terrifying that the government probably would like to get their hands on Facebook's tech if they aren't already involved. So yeah, you could have your thoughts monitored, or you could basically be shut down if the government wanted to, or if Facebook wanted to. If they didn't like your posts, they could stop you from even posting them or thinking about that stuff entirely. It's very scary, the implications. And then the last thing I wanted to cover in my bumbling mess, I can't even say that right, is that apparently Bill Hicks here got InfoWars White House press credentials, which is pretty exciting. But other than that, that's all I'm going to cover. Hopefully tomorrow Kim.com comes out with something big. If it is something, no matter what it is, I'll probably cover it, seeing as how these videos have been getting. This video, my previous one, got more attention than most of my other ones, so it's what you guys want to see. But yeah, this has been Pixelbane. Make sure you leave a comment down below about stuff that I've said wrong or my mistakes, or if you will just, you just love me. Any of that stuff. I dig it. Peace out, guys.